What's up? We are.
We're with Onacity, DJ and producer based in Tokyo, Japan.
And Orlando Sounds. Right now, we're in Shinjuku, Japan. Not many of us know how the DJ culture is, but today we're going to figure it out and also hear my man's story of how he came up and is performing here. So, a little bit of background. Shinjuku is one of the biggest
Yeah.
nightclub scenes in Japan.
For sure.
It's one of the top three scenes. And my man's, it's about or was going to open for Matroda. Little visa issues, but still is a man to make it happen for the one of the best bass artists in the whole nation. So let's get it straight.
Yeah.
We can hear some things about
I
you.
love that intro.
Where you come, where you come from, and also a little bit about you. So, what kind of music do you perform? And typically, whatever you could do in an open area for a venue.
Sure. So I'm mainly focused on tech house and bass house. I've released multiple tracks through various labels in that sort of genre. So just to name a few: House Views, Stereohype, Terms and Conditions. I recently released with Loud Memory, and yeah, a bunch of other labels.
Sick.
But basically, tech house and bass house would be my bread and butter, if you want to call it. Yeah.
No wonder you made it with Matroda. One of the biggest people, the carry on the back for like bass house.
Yeah.
One of my favorite artists personally. We used to have like Boombox Cartel.
Yeah.
We made it in the early like SoundCloud era, and they carried it for the whole year. But Matroda's been with the For You drop he made with the Beyonce sample.
Yeah.
Absolutely static.
Yep.
Dropping an edit recently that's like incorporating that. So what really made you go towards that like tech house, bass house, or was it really something that you started with later in life? Was it something like more melodic if you had like some house music thing with the bass house? Or was it just really like I love a tech house scene? Like what made you get from there?
That's a great question. Actually, when I first started, I started with Big Room. So this is a while back.
God.
We're talking about like pre-COVID era. Back when Revealed was like still in the big room sound, and Hardwell was. This is before his retirement. So that's where I started, and then slowly I realized I wanted to play more like underground stuff. And then obviously COVID happened. I think that was the big turning point when COVID happened
Definitely
and
is.
house music became the thing because everyone was partying in the house. So John Summit became big, and I had to really find like a middle ground between big room and tech house. I was like, you know what, maybe bass house is kind of the sweet spot. You still have the festival vibes, but you also have the underground sort of like touch along with it. So that was kind of like what really got me into it. I would say like my sound definitely changed post COVID versus pre COVID. Yeah.
It's really cool how like an artist's journey can very differ from when they start and where they really find their niche. Like for Malpi, like he did big house too.
Yeah.
Maurice
Maurice
and
West.
then Maurice was like he's
Maurice
at a big
West.
house and he's like this is not my love, and then he
Yep.
made the Amsterdam song and it became big, and if he did not make it he would have just dropped EDM completely.
Likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Likely. Yeah.
And it's just like to see where you find your niche and also where people started, like John Summit, like he did like a little bit of like tech house minimal, but then he became more lyrical.
Sure.
But the way of where you can find your sound and make it bigger and then like opening for Matroda is like massive. So what do you say that like are you more focused on bass house? Do you feel like this is something that's just like you're focused on to like produce, and is there anything else you're dropping soon where it's like incorporating that type of genre?
Yeah, no, that's another great question. Actually, I am dropping a new track on May 2nd on this
May
record
2nd.
label called Gendex. And it's kind of... So, fun fact, I'm actually using my own vocals in that one.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's a lot
Very
of
first
like
time?
manipulation and stuff like that, but I'm using my own vocals. And it's sort of like bass house is what I would categorize that. And yeah, it has like touches of techno here and there, but I would predominantly say bass house, yeah. You'll probably find it on the Beatport in bass house category.
Okay.
Yeah.
So make sure to look out for that.
Sure. I'll send you the artwork later.
Please,
Yeah.
please. I'd love to hear it. Love to drop in this video a little sneak peek. Hopefully we get to hear it. But either way, look out for it. So like, I hear how techno's big in, especially in Shibuya
Yeah.
and Shinjuku, but would you say like bass house and house music isn't as big here? Because in America,
Yep.
at least particularly in Chicago,
Yeah.
house music is huge.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be exactly like an open format type where it has like
Mm,
like some people love some little One Direction in there,
sure,
but it can be like minimal house, it can be like
sure.
techno. But would you say like house and techno is big here, or would you say it's more of like up and coming? They're a little bit like behind America, but it's something that's still there.
No, I think you're on point with that question. I think house is definitely not big yet, and it's at the same time it's up and coming. I think I've been in the nightlife scene and the whole Tokyo scene for a good 6 to 7 years now, and I can definitely say like compared to 7 years ago, pre-COVID versus post-COVID, I think there's a lot more parties that are just geared towards house music, tech house in general. A lot more artists that are coming here. Like just to give you an example, like we talk about Metroda, like he was supposed to come today, didn't make it, but
Darn.
first time Metroda actually played in Japan, despite being so big, was actually last year. So he didn't have a demand until like last year. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know about like how house music is on the coming. And all this while, sort of the main focus of genre, I would say, was like main stage genres, so like future house, maybe to some extent big room. And techno, as you mentioned, is one of the genres that just never died. That was popular back then. It's popular now. It will continue to be popular in Japan. Yeah. But
Wow.
house is on the rise. Look out for it. We're gonna have more and more house artists coming through. In this same venue as well, there's a few more artists that are coming in a couple of months.
So, will you
Yeah,
explain a little bit of like the venue that you're about to play
yeah,
in the middle of Shinjuku? Like this is like a
yeah,
bustling downtown
yeah,
area. There's so much going on.
yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. Coming from Chicago, like this doesn't incorporate as much as anything that's happening in like one
Mm,
street. We have our districts.
sure.
Not even districts. We have our streets and certain vibes.
Yep,
But like here at Shinjuku, it's everything in such a. It's not even a small area, but
yep.
such a large area with thousands of
Never
shops. So
sleeps.
it's never sleeps.
Never
That's,
sleeps.
that's what they call it. The,
Yeah.
the town that never sleeps.
Yeah, it's a city
Yeah.
that never sleeps, man.
It's city. It's a giant city. So
Yeah.
what do you say? How would you explain this venue where Matroda is going to be at? What would you say it's the like kind of what they incorporate and what's the theme that they have there?
So it's very underground. Let's get that straight. I think when you think
Love
of clubs, a lot of
underground.
people think like, oh, there's like fancy big LED screens and stuff like that. None of that here. It's just dark, underground. One of those places where you really should just keep your phone away and just enjoy the music. That's how I would put it. Like it's very underground. That if I was to describe in one word, underground. That's it.
Nice.
And also the artists that they're planning to bring in the future and have brought in the past, you'll notice that their sound is mainly underground. These are not the kind of artists that you would categorize as like commercial sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that Leighton Giordani is coming,
yeah, 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 yeah,
which is excellent.
yeah.
I saw him at Concord in
It's a
Chicago not
legend.
that long ago.
Yeah,
So I would say that yeah, he's definitely like more of the underground up and coming people. Not even like up and coming, but still like a big name. But
yep.
yet it is an acquired taste in terms of if you like techno or not. When he came to Chicago, he played a lot of like house music, which is
Mm,
great. But so you were mentioning how it's mostly like an underground
yep.
scene. Have you ever been to Chicago or any like clubs there, or America, or you mainly been inside Japan, or what background do you have besides Japan?
Unfortunately, only Japan. Only Japan, which I guess makes me a very good person to talk to about the Japanese scene. But it
Love
also
to
means
hear it.
I'm very oblivious of like the scene in America. But I can tell you, Japan in general, I would say is maybe somewhere between 2 to 3 years behind the US. So whatever's popping there is probably going to be popping here in 2027, let's say. So in that sense, we are lagging behind, and it's a very well-known fact as well. I mean, I think most promoters, most DJs, most club owners kind of know this. It's a trend that we're trying to change, but again, it's like playing catch up. But I would love to go to Chicago someday and like check out the house scene
Gotcha.
there. I know
Gotcha.
that's where I believe John Summit's from,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's enough reason for me to go.
So much talent comes from
Yeah,
Chicago. I absolutely adore the scene. I mean, like, yeah, we got our house scene, but also like there definitely is a techno scene.
yeah, yeah.
I'll say this, there's a bit of everything there.
Mm,
It just matters which venue you go to and what
mm,
you want inside that city, but there's always something catering to somebody.
yeah.
So I mean, like in particular, like I was gonna see if you went to like Spy Bar. Like Spy Bar is very underground.
Mm,
It can have like minimal, like some like acid tracks, but also just
sure.
something that's just like catering to something that's like you haven't experienced
Yep.
first.
Yep.
So like, what's like the first like venue? Like, how would you explain like your up and coming, the first venues you've been to, and also how does it really work here to get your gigs here, and
Sure.
how does it work into connecting with other venues or DJs?
Sure, sure. So I'll talk about the venue first.
Yeah.
So the thing about Japan is it's a very fast market when it comes to clubs. There's way too many clubs in a city that's geographically not that big, but it works because the population is a lot. Like it's very overpopulated. So that's why it works. So there is new clubs opening, I would say almost every year. Right now, the biggest club that's popping by far is called Zero Tokyo. It's the biggest club in Japan in terms of capacity, but also the artists that they bring. As far as I can remember, Malpi was here, Chase and Status was here. They also got
Huge.
Mala, and they got Emily Lenz, the techno artist, Charlotte DeWitt. I mean, the list goes on.
That's
So.
tonight, right?
Yes, that's tonight. Exactly, that's
One of
tonight.
the biggest techno artists
Exactly.
ever.
So they
Massive.
bring all the hottest artists basically. So that's the biggest club. Going back to the booking question, I think you really have to first be a fan of the music and a fan of the club. So what I mean is you're gonna have to go there as, let's say, a customer, go there a couple of times, say hi to the DJs. Generally, people in Japan are very friendly, and all resident DJs are always welcoming to talk to people because a big part of the job is to bring people to the club. So they'll talk to you whether you're as a potential DJ or as a customer. They'll be very happy to talk to you. So you just have to talk to them, maybe exchange some social media, send them your mix later, and that would be, I would say, step one. From then onwards, it's just the more venues you play, the more you get booked in other venues because promoters are always watching what other venues are booking so they can also book the same artists. So yeah, the way to like stepping into the door, I would say, is actually quite easy compared to a lot of the other countries. And there's how do I phrase this? There's room for everyone because there's so many
That's
clubs.
nice.
There's room for everyone. I think
Yeah.
that's something that's missing in a lot of the other countries.
It quite
'Cause-
is.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe the same. I believe the same. I mean, coming from Chicago, like it is welcoming, but it's also, in particular, if you've been there for like 10 years, like you have to be the homie,
Right.
or you have to know the right people,
Sure.
and you have to know what you're doing, or have some type of background where, like, you're passionate about this
Sure.
genre, you're passionate about this music, and also you somehow bring some value in terms of either passion, skill, ticket sales, all combined together.
Sure. Sure.
So like I feel like in Japan, being here for the past 10 days, but I've been connecting with you guys for about like a little bit over 2 months.
Yeah.
I would say like I have made some great connections, but it for sure builds on what you are as a person versus, okay, you're DJing.
Sure.
So I would say it's very sincere. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
organic, where it's like you're my
Yeah,
friend
yeah,
and
yeah.
we love this, and let's just see what we can do with this type of event. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Japan, Chicago, different, but still is very similar.
Sure. Sure.
So would you say that Japan is the place that structured your music the most, or is it America that has made your taste in music very like what you are? Because I feel like there's a lot of American influence. Like I
For
played
sure.
at Jumanji, and Jumanji is more of like you start there,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
it's not as big of a club, but still like you start
It's a
there.
club
It's for
everyone
the-
knows.
Yeah, it's for the younger people,
Yeah.
but also it's a lot of pop.
Sure.
And you're playing at something that's
Commercial.
like, yeah, it's commercial, and you're playing at somewhere that's, it's something that has a lot, it has good status. If you're having people that are like international DJs playing there, it's great. But would you say that your influence comes from mainly Japan, or you listen to a lot of American music or Brazilians, or because as we know, house and bass house,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talent coming from like
Yeah.
Brazil,
Yeah.
and, like,
Yeah. A lot.
UK
A
and
lot.
America.
From
So
the whole
what
of
would you
Latin
say?
America. Yeah. Definitely, I would say, just in generalizing, the West. Definitely more than
West.
Japan.
The
I think the
West.
genres that are more popular in Japan would be more around J-pop, which is kind of like Japanese pop, or J-hop, which is Japanese hip hop. So if you look at most of the gigs that I do, the sounds that I make, the tracks that I release, it's definitely more influenced by the American labels, the European labels, maybe a little bit of Dutch as well, like Netherlands and so forth, but definitely not Japan. Yeah, which might come as a surprise, but I think most DJs will probably say the same.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
What's your kind of like favorite record labels that like you're inspired by, or
Sure.
that you like would like to be having a track drop
Mm-hmm.
under? Is there any label that's like kind of like, this is my dream label, or this is
Sure.
like what I would like to have as a future goal?
Sure, that's an easy answer for me. Insomniac for sure.
They're running
I
it.
think for a multiple of different reasons. Like obviously they have different sub labels, which I think encompasses different tracks of different genres, all of which I like. And two, I think they're not just a record label; they host EDC and a bunch of other events. They have their own venues too, is what I
Massive.
heard. So
Yeah.
yeah, for those reasons, I think as far as artist development goes, I think there's very few artists that release on Insomniac and ended up not going anywhere. That's definitely a make or break kind of label. Like if you release on there, yeah, you're going somewhere. Let's say.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And you've been killing it. I see from like your social media
yeah.
what you're doing. You're getting booked every week. You're doing a lot of things at once. Do you have like a certain system that like kind of works out for you? And I feel like
Mm,
we as DJs and artists,
yeah,
we see the best, but
sure.
there's a lot of things in the background.
Yeah.
Like for myself, for example,
Mm,
getting denied is it's part of the business,
sure.
and it's not exactly getting denied. It's step one
Mm,
of saying no.
mm,
So that's okay.
mm,
You're gonna say no at least a couple of times.
mm,
But do you have a system that at least gets you to the next step,
mm.
or is there anything that like you do day by day or weekly where it's like, this is what helps me and this is what could help others?
Sure. Well, obviously, make a schedule. Like set out time for producing music every day, because that's what's gonna keep you on the map. Your music. And two, I would say definitely come out to support other artists, because
Absolutely.
this is one of those industries where it's like a tree. Like every branch is dependent on the next. So it's important that you have a good network. And one thing that I think is quite underrated in the music industry is you have to be likable. Like it's very hard to make it if you're not likable.
Yeah, you
Right?
can't be
That's
a
key.
weirdo.
That's key. So yeah, I mean, yeah, just come out, be friends with people, and see what you can do. They'll definitely help you out in the long run. You can help them out, and yeah, I think the more you actively become a part of the system will take care of you.
I agree. I mean, like, it's all being organic and it's all being a person who is realistic in terms of not only the music you like,
Mm,
but exactly the crowd you want. Like,
mm,
if you fit, you fit. If you
mm.
don't, that's okay. Like,
Yeah,
you can still be a part of the
sure,
scene.
sure.
But the thing is, it's just staying organic.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your scheduling, is there anything that you think is super important in social media?
Yeah, yeah, wow. I mean, nowadays social media is
It's
I mean, I hate to say
massive.
everything, but it's
It's
almost
massive
everything really.
nowadays.
I mean, you have to have certain level of outreach, you have to have certain level of interaction to whereby, it helps the algorithm, and a lot of people, whether it's a booking manager, whether it's a nightclub owner, whether it's another DJ who's looking to book another DJ, they can, kind of like view your content. And the more content you post, the more regularly you post, the better it's going to be. Regarding content, I would say just stay original. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw, but recently I've been posting a lot of funny stuff, like combining MMA with like house music. So I'm like using a lot of like famous iconic MMA lines and putting them in before the drop, and just putting short reels out. It's just because I'm trying to be original, because like I do like MMA, I practice it myself, and that's kind of my thing outside of music. So I thought,
That's
okay, you know what?
crazy.
Why not combine them too? So I'm sure everyone watching has their own niche. So try to see if you can combine something or connect dots there. That's the best way to be organic, and people are gonna see if you're being original, and you're definitely gonna get valued in the long run.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Other thing I want to add is you definitely have to enjoy the process, right? Don't just focus on the goal. Enjoy the process. It makes everything a lot easier, because this is like a 5 to 10 year game. This is not like a 5 day game or like overnight
It's a
game.
long time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to like be completely honest, like we have so many talented people in the game
Mm.
that we know as like they can even be better than us,
Yep.
or they can be in the same level. But it's
Sure.
like you can't hate the process in terms of how it changes.
Yep.
Like back then, it was like you can just make a hype video and be okay. But now it's
Mm.
like you have to be organic. You have to
Yep.
be personal. You have to be relatable.
Yep.
And it's not
Yep.
even like you're being fake. It's more of like this is me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is my type of personality.
Sure.
And not only that, it is like the community that I want.
Yeah.
Like you say MMA, me being a nurse,
Yeah.
I'd like to bring in some healthcare advice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like to just bring in value that I'm very passionate about.
Yep.
So I think like you find the MMA niche
Yeah.
is like absolutely very interesting, because I can't I don't know too many like DJs can whoop some ass out there like that. But like at least we know you can do both. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we might be back to back, but you're some security out here too. So
I could be a bouncer and a
yeah,
DJ.
yeah, that's sick. We need to get you double payment for each
Double payment.
hour. We need that. So I think that like enjoying the process of like social media was
Mm,
it could be incredibly hard. I mean,
yeah,
like look, like last year, yeah, you can make some like announcement. You can
yeah,
say I'm making this debut. But
sure.
now it's even more creative. You
Yeah.
can make it where it's like you're doing something that's like photogenic in
Mm,
terms of a video. I feel like reels are like the next thing. It's not the next thing, but it's now.
yeah,
Reels are now,
yeah.
and it's something that's eye catching. You make the 3 second hook,
Mm,
and like I feel like that is key. But it's also like you know what's best in your community, and you're
mm,
catering to a certain audience.
sure.
We also know that there's a structure. So,
Mm,
what do you say in your reels or anything
yeah.
like that? Is there a structure in terms of like you make a hook, or is there anything that's like you make it a certain seconds towards a short term attention span, or it's like you just kind of do what you find is best?
So for me, it's probably the third one because my reels are extremely short.
Yeah.
I think if your reel is anything over 30 seconds, you definitely have to follow what he just said, which is have a 3 second hook. In the first 3 seconds, something should hook you onto the video.
Right.
My reels are generally somewhere between 10 to 15 second max. So they're already quite short, but also a lot of the times I try to make my reel focused on the subject, which is generally not me. It's the content, the funny part of the video. I try to show that first. So whether it's like an MMA character who's notoriously funny or something, I'll like put his picture covering most of the space, and then I'll be maybe like DJing the bottom half of the screen where the focus immediately goes there, and people that might be the reason why people like, oh, hold on, what's over here? Like, let's see what's this guy doing? Like, why is there a DJ mixer, and then why is there an MMA fighter's picture upstairs? Like, so
Yeah.
something that stops them from scrolling, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always it's weird how short the attention span is game,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We cannot hate it. We cannot hate
We
it.
can't control that.
You can't control it. And the thing is, like, if you're working towards something, you can't hate the game. You just have to respect it.
Mm.
It's like you can't hate the player.
Yeah.
You can hate the game.
Yeah.
But yet, if you're gonna make the best move in terms of your career,
Mm.
you have to just play it and
Sure.
make sure you adapt, because it's all about adapting and it's all about just making the best of what it is. It's like kind of like a set. It's
Yeah.
like you're in a new area,
Mm.
like coming to like Japan.
Sure.
Japan's they love progressive house.
Yeah.
They love progressive house. And coming
Yeah.
from Chicago, I'm like, all right, like let me drop some house really quick.
Sure.
And then I dropped some house and like
Mhm.
it didn't get the best reaction. I'm like, all right, let me think of what's next. So like I'm like Knock 2. They love that. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're going crazy for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like exactly like you see what works, you see what doesn't work. And it's kind of like a metric.
Mm.
You have to see what works and doesn't work.
Mm.
So would you say that going forward,
Yeah.
Reels is like your way of go to? Is there any other like social media like app or thing that you're using right now that kind of is like has made your career better?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's talk a little bit about threads. I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea. The reason I'm gonna bring that up because like that's how we connected.
Yeah.
That's how we connected. So
Threads
he
is
made a
awesome.
post.
Threads is awesome.
Good thing about threads is sure it's not very media focused. Like there isn't a lot of media, but like a lot of like videos or audio files or pictures. But what it is they have a lot of threads which is specific to a certain topic. So there's like a DJ thread and there's a Japan thread. So let's say the way me and him connected was like he made a post about Japan, like other DJs in Japan that are ready to connect with me, etc., etc. And somehow that came into my sort of like feeds. And clearly that's because I'm located in Japan. So I think Threads is a great way to actually
All the way
connect to
from
people.
Chicago, man.
Yeah, all the way from Chicago. Look at that. I mean, I feel
So
like a lot of the
far.
other algorithms might not have like led us to be connected. So it's like,
No.
but Threads
no.
did the job. So I think Threads is definitely underrated. It's
Yeah.
great for making connections. Whether it's great for building fan base or not, maybe not. I think then Instagram is still the one that rules.
Yeah.
I think it's still the one where you gotta just keep be consistent with making reels on, and it has this sort of like domino effect, right? Like one person sees your reel, if it's good, they'll share it, and it just keeps on growing from there. It's very hard to sort of like game the algorithm. So I would say just be consistent. Generally, the ones that get rewarded are the ones that are consistent.
I agree on that. It's amazing how many media outlets you can use.
Yeah.
Like I personally agree. Like use all of them. It's your
Yeah.
resource. Like, go for it. Go
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Use your TikTok. Use your Facebook. Use your Instagram. Use your Reddit. Use your I mean, what else is there?
I mean, honestly, LinkedIn is a good source too.
yeah, like use your LinkedIn, whatever you got.
Yeah, whatever you can.
Use your
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
It won't hurt. And being told no, don't
Asking
hurt
is free.
either. Yeah, it's like
Asking is free.
I believe heavily being told no is the first defense.
Yeah.
And if you can next weekend or next week or next email,
Yeah.
if you can bring value and say this is what's going on,
Sure.
this is my demo, this is my mix.
Yeah.
Check it out if you like to.
Yeah.
If you are denied, next thing you can do is just show that you're interested.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're just texting, give me book, give me book, give me
Sure.
book.
Sure.
It is, this is my value, this is what I'm working on.
Yeah.
If you like it, okay. If you got any feedback,
Yeah.
great. But
Yeah.
feedback is essential. Asking
Sure.
for some feedback or even having anything from that
Sure.
is valuable information. So I definitely agree that these social media outlets are amazing. Threads is, I didn't think anything would come from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely not. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's absolutely great for a DJ
Adding
community.
on to that, actually, you're not the first person that came to Japan who posted on Threads and somehow they came to my feeds.
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's what I mean. I think Threads is very like location.
What region
focused
was it?
algorithm.
What region was it?
Oh, that guy's from Europe.
Oh, wow.
So he posted from
Yeah.
Europe, but he
Yeah.
he used the keyword Japan and DJs and producers.
It's
and-
crazy.
Which led me.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah, Shinjuku, baby.
Shinjuku. Yeah, like I said, the city never sleeps. We're like about to hit midnight in 45
Yeah.
minutes, but there's a whole another Shinjuku after 12. Then there is a Shinjuku before 12.
And people stay out here until what time usually? They stay out till like 7 in the morning?
5
6 in
hours
the morning,
minimum. Five
five
That's
is
when
the
the
minimum?
trains operate. So
That's
I'd
even
say
the
5.
weekdays is like,
Yeah. Weekdays, there's a whole another crowd. But the point is,
5.
the city never sleeps.
yeah, insane. So what time are you about to start out tonight? What time do you have to make it?
45 minutes.
45
Or
minutes?
12 o'clock.
All right, well,
Well, I'm playing a B2B with a friend of mine, and we're going to play 90 minutes straight.
ooh, that's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
Is there any other like last announcement, anything you would like to let them know? Any social media handles? Anything for the people? What would
Sure.
you like them to know?
Sure. Please check out my music. All my handles are I am Onacity. It's literally the handle for all my social media. But above all, thanks to this guy, man. I mean, we connected and we're having this good conversation here. I bet this is going to stay as a good memory, and
Oh,
you never know,
man.
we're going to meet again in another
Yeah.
part of the world under different circumstances. But I'm sure we'll meet again.
Absolutely.
Take care, y'all.
You guys got it. Japan's amazing. Shinjuku's amazing. One of the top countries I've been to at all, and a lot would agree.
Yeah.
I hope you guys had good information come from this. Drop a follow. Make sure to follow this guy too.
Yeah.
See his upcoming music. See his Instagram. See the journey that he's making.
Yep.
It's making a big impact out here in Japan. And I hope you guys stay here for more.
Sure. Thank you.